Galaxy. I'm Chris Pirillo, and the wacky facial expressions, coupled with the voice oddities, are a result of realizing that I'm about a half hour late. I thought I was going to be able to fly through a Think Geek Hall much more quickly than I actually did. Think Geek Hall, by the way, which was pretty much all Star Wars stuff, 75% off. A couple of you I know were watching that video live in my personal channel, but I cannot believe that I got some of these super high quality items for 75% off. I'm not going to show all of them here. I'd already done the haul in the other video, or in the other channel, in another video, certainly. But a lot of things that otherwise I would never have picked up. 75% off for a super high quality Star Wars item, I just cannot resist. I cannot resistance. This, though, as I mentioned in the other video, I thought was going to be smaller. This is more like a placard of sorts that you can hang on the wall. A piece of art, metal, wood, potentially plastic. Pretty nice. Especially since our daughter is named Jedi. This is just like a fraction of what I picked up. Again, 75% off! I can't believe it! So that hit my radar. ThinkGeek, as I have mentioned before, and as you probably already know, is almost no longer, at least in terms of the way that we've known it to be. Sorry, I've got a couple of t-shirts here. Because if you did not realize this, I am still wearing yesterday's t-shirt. Honestly, I wear t-shirts, and I realize this is probably like way too much information, but can often wear them 2 days in a row because I just don't do anything except, sit. My wife does not complain. She thinks that, I smell nice, which is great. I don't think that's lip service. I think she would tell me. Like, even the thing, that's how I know she's being honest, because even when we fought, like, tooth and nail over something, she never talks about my scent, my musk. Although that said, I do have something else on order from Fragrance. They had 30% off Star Wars colognes the other day, so I'm going to be getting those. I need to put on a t-shirt, so it's either going to be the solo t-shirt. I don't need to, but this one, they printed upside down, as you can see. Woo. I've got some of the Infinity Scarves back there, not to be confused with Infinity Stones. And then this one. I think I'm going to go for this one. Let me go ahead and clip that off. I'm so glad for this, I would assume is a recent trend of losing the tag. I've always hated tags. Always. Going all the way back. Cannot stand tags. Cannot stand tags. This trend of like tagless shirts, long overdue. Okay, so hello there. You hope you change. I do change my underwear. Thank you for asking, Heath. I do that. Hello, Star Wars fans 66. Sorry you decided to tune in right now, but I don't get a lot of sun, even here in Seattle, or especially here in Seattle, I should say. Hang on, I will do my best to cover myself. There we go. Okay. Okay. Cool. Very nice. And this is it's large. Sorry, it feels like there's something in there. Maybe not. Large, which seems to fit nicely. I'm glad I went for large rather than medium. Although, see, the thing that drives me nuts with large shirts sometimes is the neck. That's going to drive me nuts. The fact that it hangs down like that. That's why I tend to go for medium shirts, because I'm like right on the cusp of medium and large. So it's a nice shirt. It's a soft shirt, clean shirt, tie-dyed shirt. Hopefully the neck will shrink a bit. Hopefully it's not pre-shrunk. See, it's too much. That's too much skin around my neck area. I know I'm picky. I'm probably the only one who's picky about that stuff, but it's true. So there's the Falcon crew there, original trilogy, Heath. Very, very nice. 75% off, cannot miss. But see, again, see, the thing is, it's a comfortable fit. It's a nice fit. I can't get refunds, obviously. Like, I'll wear it, but the thing is like, compared to like that other shirt, the neck is just too large for me. I don't like too much neck. That's me. That's my personal preference. But I'll wear it out, I think it looks good. I think it looks nice. People will know exactly what it is. But yeah, if it would have been medium, it would have been too small. Like this part would have been the main part would have been too small, but the neck would have been perfect. Like why can't they make like large Star Wars shirts with like medium sized necks? That's what I would love to have. Personally, that's me. That's a personal preference. I realize not everybody feels that way. Way too much neck. That's what. Oh, you're not agreeing with me. You're making fun of me, Heath. That's okay. I should be made fun of. Who's in the cockpit? This is from A New Hope. Let's see, where's the cockpit there? So we got Kenobi in there. They're likely flying towards the Death Star at this very moment. See how it's kind of like cut away, right? Original trilogy right there. Speaking of original trilogy, I got something else to showcase here. Before I do, I have to mention that Walmart has a handful of Star Wars sets on sale, like newer ones on sale, including the anniversary edition Imperial Dropship 75262, down from $19.99 to $12.99, so almost half off. That's pretty darn nice for a Lego set. So it's about 40% off-ish. That's the one with 3 troopers, a Shadow Trooper, and a Han Solo. So 5 Star Wars minifigures, plus the other bricks, for $12.99. Great price. And then there's a 30% off the Clone Scout Walker, the 75261. That's the one with a Kashyyyk Trooper, a Chewbacca, or Tarful's? Hang on, give me a second. I think it's Tarful. Yeah, it's just a Wookiee. A Battle Droid, which I don't really count as a minifigure, and then the Darth Vader special one with the special brick. So that's the reason why I wanted that one. So 30% off that. So you can find some discounts on Walmart.com if you had not looked. It's potentially worth buying if you're interested. See, I even in the unboxing and the putting together of the Emphas Nest sets the other day, I don't get these types of things full price. 75% off this shirt with this huge neck. Okay, is this neck gonna? Okay, it's not that bad. Maybe. Tell me it's not. Just tell me it's not that bad, please. Even if it's bad, tell me it's not that bad. Because I need to know that. That I do need to know. Lego Star Wars discounts to be had on Walmart.com. And then the other day, I got an email. I signed up for Hasbro Pulse. I don't know if I'm going to stick with it. I don't know if it's necessarily going to be worth it for me to stick with, because I just don't get a lot of things through Hasbro Pulse. Though having free shipping is nice, I would have preferred like a few more exclusives, which they did not. At least to this point, have not released outright. But they gave me like $5 to take a survey. So I'm like, okay, that's $5. All right, I'll take a survey. Flew through the survey, got $5. I'm like, well, what am I gonna do with this $5? So I ended up getting. Wait, hang on. I got something that hasn't come yet. I thought. So this is not from Hasbro Pulse. This is from Amazon, because it was also on sale the other day. The Death Star Gunner, regular price, under $15 for the Star Wars Rogue One. Well, according to this, Rogue One, Death Star Gunner, Imperial Gunner. That I wanted. I had a few of them from the modern line. This one obviously is not going to be collectible on card. It's like beat up, creases and bends and everything. But I got it because that's a decent price. All right, I can't have too many Imperial Gunners. You really can't. Throw it back there. I've got some trash cleaning up to do today. So yikes. So he's got a little like an antenna of sorts right there on top. It's bent. Head's a little looser than I'd like it to be. Not as tight. Sometimes with the super articulated figures, you don't get tightness. But this was probably certainly from back in the day, my day, one of my favorite vintage figures. This is obviously not vintage, but I pulled one of my vintage Imperial Gunners to the side. This is the modern one, obviously very modern, like incredibly modern, like new release modern, and the vintage one. And I remember getting the vintage Imperial Gunner and being very, 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 very happy with it. Very happy. So between the two, I know that the modern Imperial Gunner or Death Star Gunner is far more accurate, like screen accurate, but there's just something to be said about the vintage line. This is one of those figures that, or characters really, that I'm just going to. I will always prefer the vintage to the modern, even though the modern's more accurate. I'll take the vintage over the modern. Now there are some characters that's not the case, like Han Solo, Luke Skywalker. So many of anything with human likeness. I don't like the original vintage line as much as I like the modern equivalents for certain reasons. But I always loved the vintage Imperial gunner, and this one's in good shape. In fact, I've got a couple of them. This might be Jedi's because I got some extras so that she had a full run of the vintage line when she was old enough, if she cared. I've got my collection, but I want to say this might even be mine from my childhood. Like, I was blessed to have the last 17. But between the two, I'm gonna give it to this Imperial gunner. But I will of course love and appreciate this Imperial gunner as well. With a gun. Get it? Imperial gunner. He's got a gun. Okay, I thought it was funny. It's just me, I know. It's just me. He's got his finger sticking out, ready to pull the trigger. Hopefully I'm not going to snap this guy's limb. These super articulated figures always make me nervous. But he or she will sit up on the shelf. I've got like a small shelf of like the black figures like a Shadow Trooper, a Shadow Guard, Imperial Gunner, TIE Pilots, like any like black figures like sitting on a shelf, and they're all like mixed in between. It's kind of funny. And he will go there. I had a super articulated Imperial Gunner, but not one specifically with this particular sculpt. So the vest is like, he's got this vest like sheath of sorts. It's separate from his body, very very thin, kind of rubbery plastic, but still very nice. So this is a part of the new wave for the vintage collection, available soon. Allegedly, these weren't going to ship. That's when my Hasbro one is going to be coming. The t-shirt, the neck on this t-shirt is driving me nuts. It's too much neck. Look at that. Look, man, you can see you can almost see my entire chest. That's what drives me nuts about large shirts, but the fit is comfortable. Oh man, see, that's the thing, is I might not wear it. I mean, I'll wear it, but like, I'm just obsessing over this big neck, and there's no way of shrinking the neck, apart from like wearing it like this and pulling it back, but then it's gonna fall forward. Like, see, that looks okay, but then the moment you lean forward and it's all neck, that's crazy. I can't do that. Chris, wear a big gold necklace to cover your skin and be the dude from the hood. I should be. It looks normal. This looks normal. Okay, I'm just obsessing over something that is inconsequential, which I tend to do every so often. But now I've pretty much shown you everything that was on my radar for today. Hopefully, you've seen things today as well beyond me and my t-shirt obsessions and my Imperial Gunner figure, which I'm not going to obsess about. He will stand nicely amongst the rest of the black figures with a very loose, like the head, the swivel, very very loose. That's the thing I can't stand about like super articulated figures. That's the thing. This guy's hardly been touched, and his head is so loose. Versus like the vintage Imperial Gunner, and he's like, this is like a C8 Imperial Gunner, maybe C9, maybe. Didn't have a lot of paint, apart from the Imperial insignias on the shoulders. But what are you gonna do? Hey, Purple Paisley Planner, I will take your word for it. My drink is no longer, my beverage is no longer cold because the ice cubes have melted, which is sad, but not like horrible, mind you. Did anything hit your radar today? Curious to know if you've seen anything else. I've now shared with you 3 bits that hit my radar. That was all I wanted to share. All I was looking forward to sharing. I didn't necessarily see anything else within the Star Wars fandom today. And let me check my feed just to triple check. Apart from knowing yesterday that some official art from The Mandalorian was released, doesn't necessarily get me excited as much as it might others. I mean, it's nice to see. Don't get me wrong, but I'm waiting for the show. That's what I want. I want the show. I don't need the art. I don't need teasers. I need the show more than anything. So now that I've scrolled through, like I said, most of my feed, and nothing else had jumped out at me today when I was watching. Because I keep my eye on the stuff throughout the day. And there are days that have more news than others. But that's also why I'm grateful to have toys. I will turn to the community for questions on your radar. You managed to get Obi-Wan Kenobi telescoping lightsaber. Oh, okay. That's not it's not something that ever hits my radar. I mean, I see this every so often, and I get most of my lightsabers thrifting. If I do, I'm not even a purist. Some people are. Some people know everything about the lightsabers. The hilts all the way through, and I was never, I guess, as big into that level of detail as others were. I kind of feel bad about that. To the point where even when I couldn't identify Yoda's lamp, even though it's not a lightsaber, from Empire Strikes Back, from when I went to Galaxy's Edge, some people say, "Oh, you're not a real Star Wars fan." I'm like, I don't know why I blanked on it. I just didn't see it. I tend not to pay attention to a lot of those details, but it's true. So, did you get one, Heath, or did you actually 3D print one? That's the question. Because if you have the ability to 3D print, you could 3D print your own lightsaber hilt. You can even make your own lightsaber hilts. I don't know what you would use necessarily for the glowing blade portion of it. But you could probably design your own lightsaber hilts if you hadn't thought about it. I mean, you wouldn't be able to sell them necessarily because Disney would be very, very upset. But, if you're a lightsaber collector, it is definitely awesome news. I can tell you that I've seen enough of them, but I get like the cheap ones. I don't go for like the super high end ones outright. We've got probably about a good 8 or 9 different hilts around here, Jedi and Sith. It's true. Obi-Wan Kenobi figure with telescoping lightsaber. Oh, so like vintage. Okay, never mind. Did you get the cape too? The cloak? Like, if it's vintage, that would be nice. How did I miss telescoping? Why was I not making the connection? 350 pounds? Dude, I don't know what the translation of that is or into US dollars, but that doesn't sound cheap. Wait, hang on. There was only a Darth Vader and a Luke farm boy double telescoping. There wasn't. How did you pay $350? No way, dude. Because I know the one that I got C9 like 3 years ago, was nowhere near that. Hang on. Wait, what condition? Like, mine is C9 telescoping with the nub. No way. See, that's the thing. Double telescoping I could see, but did they have a double telescoping Kenobi? Now you have me looking. This is gonna send me right down the rabbit hole. Double telescoping. Oh yeah, they did. Okay, so which one was it? Nah, no. You better make. See, this is the thing that freaks me out now, and I'm so glad I got my vintage collection when I did, like when I built it, because repro is rampant. Yeah, here we go. Loose telescoping bends. Yeah, double telescoping. Oh. Hang on. Blue instead of yellow. Kenobi. Sorry, I'm looking at Gus Lopez's site. Wow. or at least it looks double telescoping. Now, like seriously though, like I have a C9 Kenobi. No way I paid that much. Hang on, now you got me going. Now you got me going to eBay, which is the worst place to go. Kenobi vintage. You gotta be careful, not collection. C9. See, $89. And this is indeed, if it's C9, let me check. He's got a rub on his nose. Not double telescoping, but just a regular telescoping. Painted hand. There were some variants certainly in the Kenobi, with Kenobi. But even this one, that was 89, but even this one, 1977 Hong Kong, decent paint app, white hair, and blue saber. Hopefully, I imagine no repro. The cloak looks okay, and that's only like $40. Okay, double. Okay. Thank you, Heath. You had me wondering. I'm like, dude, there's no way. Oh, so it's on mint on card. So hang on, you got a double telescoping Kenobi mint on card. Okay. Then $600 was probably a bargain. That was probably a bargain. That's awesome. I don't have a single double telescope, even loose. That's wild. The funny thing is, you want to hear something funny? I have a hollow cheek for my original collection. I have, and it was in decent shape, a hollow cheek sand person, and I didn't realize it until I was going through things, and I'm like, because I gave Jedi some of my doubles, and I'm like, and I looked, and I'm like, hang on, this, oh my god, it's a hollow cheek sand person. I mean, it was the cloak was gone, so I had to replace that, but or the vinyl was gone. Yeah, I have a hollow cheek in my collection, and I had one. I didn't have to find it. I had it. I had discarded it effectively, and realized, wait a minute. So yeah, in my definitive collection here, I gotta be careful because I've got a messy little room back there. But my vintage line is back like there. The baseball cases right there. That's where all my vintage figures are. Everything else is like, I mean, I've got a mess that I've got to get through here in my office. That's why I don't want to show you down here. Don't look down below. Ignore down below. That's where my vintage line is right there. But yeah, that was probably one of the biggest surprises when I went to complete my full vintage line. And I'm not going to chase the variants. There's no way. So then Heath, where did you get it? That's my question. Like, where did you get it? Like, where did you find it? Because that's something that you would almost have to get from a fellow collector. I'd assume it wasn't at auction. It's probably a bad assumption, but this neck. If I don't look at my neck, I'll be fine. Yes, I know you need a room tour. I have not done a room tour in 3-4 years, maybe, something like that. I haven't done a room tour in a while. I know I should. I haven't done. In fact, I have not done a room tour since I put the vintage collection or the vintage figures up. Hang on. I was unboxing all those Think Geek things. I got some tape on my sock. Yeah, I don't think I've done a room tour in that long. Although a lot of it hasn't necessarily changed, except for that the vintage line of figures. That's probably the biggest addition to this to the play shop. And of course, I've added Darth Vader things over time. I intend on getting this room clean at some point in the very near future, if only so that I can do a room tour and upset everybody. Because the thing is, I've done room tours over the years, and I think the last one I did in my personal channel was very it was very Vadery, and a lot of people were upset. They didn't like my Star Wars collection. I'm like, hey, what do you want? This is my room. You can have your own. Your friend's granddad just passed away. He knew you'd love it. Wow, dude, that's crazy. That is very good fortune. So it went to a good house. That's the thing, is like sometimes when I get stuff like secondhand from somebody, for one reason or another, I mean they obviously know when it comes to Star Wars stuff. I'm like, well, it's going to a good home. Like, this is not gonna get. This is very, very treasured. It's very valued, at least as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, I had a feeling though, Heath, much like you. My feeling is that if I was ever to get, my luck may very well change, but if I was ever to get the like a carded vintage line of figures, which I was never inclined to do, it would probably be through like some kind of inheritance, not from my family because they don't collect, but like something like a similar situation where I'd basically be buying from a collector or former collector. Yeah, I think I will be. I was happy as a kid getting all the figures minus Yak Face and Blue Snags, but it was a few years ago when I realized I really would like to have definitively a good Star Wars figure collection, and I knew the only way of doing that was going complete, no repro, and loose. And trying to shoot for a certain number. And I know everybody's different in that sense, but I'm like, if I'm going to complete a collection, I will wait for each one if I can find one C9 or above. And so that's what I went with. And it wasn't droids or Ewoks. I didn't go complete that direction, just kind of the figure collection as I knew it, as I remembered it, as I liked it. So I went that direction. I couldn't even dream about going carded though. That's something that I've never even thought of. And I'm glad, because if I did, then I'd probably obsess on that too. And I'd be like, oh man, how am I going to get a carded I just couldn't even begin to do something like that. I worked with very reputable people. This was a few years ago. In putting together my vintage collection, I was lucky as well to have had a few figures from my original collection still being in good shape, good shape enough for me to keep it in my definitive loose vintage line. He was going to give it me for free, but I gave £350 for him. Cancer research. His granddad died. That's Heath. That's admirable. That's very, very, very admirable. But this is the thing, is like, I remember, and I've mentioned this. I think I mentioned it yesterday. Talking about Han Solo Bespin. Like, I remember the store. I can't remember the name. Maybe it was Montgomery Ward. But I remember the day. It was rainy. It was like a summer. It was rainy. I was with my grandparents. And I remember getting the Han Solo Bespin figure. I remember seeing Hammerhead at a Kmart growing up for $5. And I was with a friend of the family. She wouldn't buy it for me, and that was the last one I needed to complete my collection. And I didn't get a Hammerhead until years later in trading for it. Again, long ago. But to me, part of collecting isn't just getting that particular item, right? It's like, I remember one of my aunts gave me, if it wasn't this particular Imperial gunner, I remember she gave me my Imperial gunner for Christmas. One year, and I it's either this one or the one in my collection. I can't remember which one I decided to go with. My definitive collection. This is not my definitive collection. This is just an extra Imperial gunner that I happen to love. But I remember the story, right? Am I likely to remember the story for the modern figures? I don't think so. More often than not, I don't think so, because back in the day, it was just different. As you may very well know, it was just different. And so much of it was trading for and chasing and wondering where and when and how you'd get something. And so collecting for me, the vintage collection, back in the day, it was always the memories. It was always the story that came with the item. Not just the item itself, it was the story. And I think part of that has been lost in collecting over the years. Collecting, I guess, means something different to me now than it did. But it was always a story. So you've got a story, Heath, which is almost just as valuable as the item itself. cling to it. I'd hope to. I'd hope to. Swayze Smooth, new game looks good. Which one? You remember Montgomery Wards? That's awesome. You remember playing the video game demos? I remember, not too deeply, because that was the days of the Atari 2600. They had the game demo stations, but I don't know. I don't remember playing those a lot in the stores. I always chased the toys. I always look for the toys. That's me, and it's still me looking for the toys. That's what I do. It's auction. If you auction it tomorrow, you get £1,000. Exactly. So you could flip it, but it's the story. And to me, so much of even the reasons why I got into, the Star Wars. I don't know. I've always been a Star Wars fan. Hello, going all the way back, but it was largely, this was the Darth Vader was a gift as an adult that I hadn't thought about for years. A vintage Darth Vader. It's up. He's up on that shelf there. And they went away for a while and then exploded. So in many ways, my Star Wars collection was kind of a referendum of sorts, kind of a response, and I'm grateful for it. I got into Lego again as an adult, by and large, because of someone who used to watch my live video. Used to and kind of did the other day, my live video streams. And I realized I was an adult fan of Lego, and that was okay. And I didn't realize that until, someone basically reintroduced me in some way, shape, or form. It's always a story. It's always a story. Like, if I never gave up, like, back in the day, my collection would be even bigger than it is today. It would be out of control. It's out of control now. Not that I mind thrifting for some things that I missed, but anyway. I'm going to let everybody go. It's a little past a half hour here for the broadcast, but thank you for tuning in. Woolworths. I got my General Madine from a Woolworths. True story. See, I remember. Oh, I remember. It's weird. Very few things that you can just, you just picture in your mind. You can remember, you can associate with. It's always a story. All right, JL, let's see here. Do you prefer the new fanfare, the new digital Star Wars, the 20th Century Fox fanfare? I'm color me a fan of the classic. Brum-bum, brum-bum, brum-bum. Now you can go tell your friends that you witnessed a full-blown adult doing the 20th Century Fox fanfare live on the internet. I will see everybody tomorrow for more Star Wars goodness. Hopefully more good stuff hits your radar, as I'm sure it will mine. Until then, I do love you. I appreciate you. And at this point, I'm going to leave you to your own devices. May the Force be with you always.